Currently recording. Awesome. So as you guys are all here is for our CV and resume building. So today we are going to be chatting about the difference between CVs and resumes and how to strengthen and build them so you can be successful on the job market after graduation. Depending on the role that you are applying for, you will need either a CV or a resume. Although they serve similar purposes to showcase your talents on paper, they are generally targeted towards different audiences and have some formatting differences. Additionally, I also want to preface and say that the CV and resume building we will be talking about today is for job applications in a Western society. If you are looking for a job internationally, the CV and resume standards may be different. So we highly encourage you guys to do some additional research to prepare for international job applications. All right, and let's get into it. So today, we hope that you guys will be able to walk away with the ability to distinguish the difference between a resume and a CV, the knowledge of what needs to be included on a resume and CV, and gained confidence in tailoring your resume and your CV for future job applications. All right, so let's get into it. What is a CV? So, a curriculum vitae, CV, is a snapshot of your academic, educational, and career background. It's typically used to apply for academic, scientific, or research roles. There's no page limit, as it will include all of your experience over the years, so it can showcase your academic training and related pursuits in order to demonstrate your potential as a scholar and/or researcher. So, some common sections to include. There are numerous sections to include on your CV. However, here are the most common. So you have your contact information, your education, including schools, degrees, professional experience, any honors and awards, publications and presentations, extracurriculars and volunteer experience, skills, or summary of qualifications, research, grants, teaching experience, certifications or trainings, professional affiliations and activities, and any languages. Some formatting tips. So, once you have all of your sections outlined and information ready to add to your CV, here are some tips to keep in mind and apply. Start by listing your experiences within each section in reverse chronological order, meaning the most to least recent. Definitely take advantage and use bolds, italics, and underlining, and even capitalization to draw attention to the different aspects of your sections and to make it easier to read through. And last of all, use bullet points to help organize your examples and help the employer know more about you quickly. And so we're going to dive a little bit more deeper into how to write a bullet point. So, writing bullet points can be somewhat of an art at times, but today we're going to help break it down to make writing them so much easier. So first, you want to identify what you want to share in a bullet point. And then you're going to try and find a strong action verb to start your bullet point with. Then consider the what, or what specific thing you do or did. How did you do it with any skills and or tools? And last of all, the outcome, what happened. So we will be going over a short before and after example of what that might look like. So before, your original bullet point might have looked like you wrote reports, typed memos, and various other administrative duties. But applying the what, how, and outcome, it's going to look a little bit different. So that after is going to look like created several monthly statistical reports, that's our what, using Microsoft Excel, that's our how, and for use by manager in department budgeting and projections. That is our outcome. And so some tips to write those bullet points is that hiring managers and hiring committees love numbers. If possible, include a bullet point or two with quantitative data. And of course, don't be afraid to be specific. Keep it easy to read, but provide any names, departments, type of work and tools that you work with so that your potentially future employer definitely knows what you're doing. All right, and so here I have a page listed of an example CV. Mary and or Kelsey will put a link in the meeting chat that will take you to the sample CV and many more CV templates that you can use when applying for academic positions. So I'll just keep this here up just for, I don't know, maybe about 10, 15 more seconds so you guys can take a look at it. But like I said, it will definitely be in there in the chat. All right, moving on to what is a resume? All right. A resume is a short, targeted document that uses relevant experiences towards the role you are applying for. It's typically used in non-academic positions, and it will typically include 1 to 2 pages that highlight key skills and examples of your work. Think of a resume more as a marketing tool to sell your experiences to a potential employer. So some sections to include will be, a heading. That heading will have your name, contact info, and oftentimes a picture or logo. A resume summary or resume objectives. So this summary is going to be 3 to 5 sentences long that highlights your skills and work experience and articulates your value to the employer. And an objective is 1 to 3 sentences long. It expresses your desire to gain experience and can include your interest in the position. And then, of course, another spot to have is your education, most recent degree to least recent degree, and experiences, once again, in that reverse chronological order, most recent to least recent. And like I mentioned earlier, on that right side is kind of an example of what everything that we just discussed is going to look like. And some examples of other sections to include might include, once again, those honors, awards, and scholarships, community service and volunteer work, extracurricular activities, relevant coursework or projects, licenses and certifications, professional organizations that you're a part of, any trainings, workshops, or conferences that you have attended or presented at that you feel like might be important and relevant to the job you're applying for. Excuse me. Any service learning, research projects, foreign languages, any relevant computer skills, And so once again, kind of going to those formatting tips, the resume is a little bit more stricter in that essence. And we'll get to more why that might be later. So use a font size of between 10 to 12 points. Use a standard font to ensure compatibility on other computers. Use, once again, those bolding, underlining, or italics to draw the eye to the most important things, and using those bullet points. And once again, we have some example resumes up on the screen, and I will also have Kelsey or Mary put those in the chat so you guys have access to that outside of this presentation that you can view at any time. And I'll kind of leave this up on the screen for another 10 to 15 seconds for you guys to take a look at. Alrighty. And then moving on to tailoring your resume. As we kind of talked about earlier, that your resume is going to be targeted to each specific job application. So the best way to tailor your resume for a position is by looking at the job description. If there's a posted job description for the position you're applying for, this tells you exactly what the employer is looking for. The best resume is the one that closely matches the job description. So it's important to tailor your resume because, like we said earlier, resume is a targeted advertisement, which means you will need a different resume for each job you apply for. The keywords you use connect your experience with the position you are applying for. And nowadays, companies can use 1 or 2 ways of reviewing your resumes. So either a human, just one of us that can review your resume in 6 to 10 seconds. So what you have, those first impressions are super important. And that's a first review. If you kind of made that first review pass, then you'll go on to the second review and you have a higher chance of being in the interview process. But then we also have the computer, which is why it's super important to have those certain font sizes and also font. Yeah. And so what the computer does is it will scan for any of those keywords in the job description. And if your resume has any of those matching ones, then it's already going on to the next step for the applications and for jobs. All right. And so the process to tailor your resume. So there's some basic steps onto how to do this. So first, you want to address everything from the job description that your experience allows for. You want to remove any details that are unrelated to the job description. Use the language from the job description, like I said, keywords and or phrases, and then modify your format if necessary to highlight your qualifications. All right, so on the next slide, this slide, we have an example of what that would be. So this is an actual job application that someone uploaded onto Indeed. And so as you can see here in the example, there are some highlights of just some keywords, some key phrases that are super important that this future employee wants to include. So you're really just highlighting those key terms and descriptions, and you also want to number them because ideally you would like to have 5 to 10 of these keywords or phrases from the job description in your resume as well. And so once again, kind of going from the job description, this is going to be their resume that they created from that. So as you can see, some of these highlights have those keywords, whether they're used in the same way or something very similar. But once again, it's really using these to showcase that their experiences they have so far match what is on the job description. And that's really what they're looking for. Um, and once again, you have those little numbers to make sure we're meeting that 5 to 10, quota, whether it's keywords or phrases, so you can better stand out. Alrighty. And now we're going to be going over our overview for CV and resumes. So to recap what we went over today, an application asking for a CV is really asking for what your research profile and experience is. It could be 2 pages or more, emphasizes your academic experience and achievements, and will often be comprehensive. And an application asking for a resume is really asking if you have the skills or experience that the institution requires, should only be about 1 to 2 pages, emphasizes skills and work experience, is used for jobs, and should be targeted for each job. All right, so, and on this page, we have a resource packet that Career Services has so awesomely put together for you guys. You guys are more than welcome to scan that QR code. And so you guys will have access to that and everything of all those, you know, handouts that we have. So these are both digital for you. You can print them out. But yeah, so you can kind of create everything that we have kind of talked about today. And now I'm going to hand it over to Career Services with Mary and Kelsey.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Lauren. Okay, everyone. We are now actually going to go into breakout rooms. So I am going to put room 1 is going to be resumes. And so that group, if you want to learn more about resumes, is going to come over to room 1. And then room 2 is going to go with Mary and going to be all about CVs. And you are in good hands with both of us. We just ask that you pick a room and from there, we'll go and we'll dive in and get your questions answered. So thank you, Lauren, for the wonderful overview. And Mary and I are now going to dive in and really get into the weeds of it. Probably for what, Lauren, do you want us back here at 3:45? Okay, perfect. Okay, everyone. Rooms are open. So please go ahead and hop on in to those Zoom rooms.
Okay, well, I have to figure out how to join the breakout room.
All right, and for the few of us that are still in here, this is kind of just like a little waiting room. The only last few things we have to cover in this presentation is really just going to be once again putting up that resource packet for everyone to know, and just a few campus resources that we would love for you guys to know about. But yeah, if you don't need to go into the CV and resume breakout rooms where you'll kind of be doing some tailoring and some further instruction, you guys are more than welcome to leave the presentation or stay towards the end. Alrighty, are we still waiting on Kelsey's breakout room then, Mary?
I think so. I think so.
Okay, we'll give it a few more minutes. It's okay if they're a little over time. We still got plenty of time.
And I'm going to put this resource in the chat that I mentioned in the breakout room. This is a resource guide from George Washington University. They have a resources drop-down menu that includes the guides that I was going over, but they have the bullet point descriptions that I was referring to is in the undergraduate resume guide. Oh, that's not gonna work. Okay, let me see if I can copy this link. And there we go. That will have those examples of the qualitative versus quantitative examples using to strengthen bullet points, whether that's for a CV or a resume. And it also has some great questions for kind of brainstorming, like what questions should I ask myself to figure out what I did? So it has some great questions in there as well. So I think the page that it will link you to immediately is a page about questions, but if you scroll up, there are specific examples of qualitative versus quantitative bullet points.
Well, I think to not keep people waiting too long, we just had a few things I wanted to wrap up with, something I can easily show. The next breakout group looks like they're joining us right now, so never mind. We'll wait for them to all join. Right, and it looks like we have everyone back in. So once again, like I said, we're just gonna wrap up a few things. If you missed it before or joined us a little bit later, here is that QR code to scan so you can view the resource packet that either Mary and or Kelsey was talking about with all the documents that we talked about earlier today. I'll leave this up on the screen for just a couple more seconds in case anyone needs to grab a screenshot of that. All right. And then I also just wanted to share some additional resources with you guys. As you know, Career Services, they do wonderful work and they were able to help so much with this workshop presentation event today, and so thankful for both Mary and Kelsey for helping us out. The Graduate Student Success Center, you can also visit them on campus. They will be in Riverfront Hall. If you need any other, they have a writing center there for graduate students, and they can help you out with any other professional development as well. And then, of course, Gradwell, we do host events like these ones and also social events. So stay updated on our website or on campus groups to see more what we have to offer. But above all else, a big thank you to everyone who joined. I hope you were able to get a lot out of this. And by seeing how popular this was, we'll definitely be hosting this sometime again soon. This is our QR code, so you can visit our Gradwell Boise State website if you wanted to check up our upcoming events. We have other resources on campus. And once again, the PowerPoint slides and the video, recorded video, this will be on our website by the end of this week. All right, so once again, thank you guys so much for attending this, and you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for attending.